What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to another episode of Marvelous DJs Cheat Code. Yours truly, DJ Mike Marvelous. Today, we're going to get into Spotify. Welcome to the party. Spotify has now joined the DJ game in allowing DJs to stream music from their services over into Serato, DJ Pro, Rekordbox. So if you have any of those and you think you want to start using Spotify, today I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and I'm going to make you a little upset probably at the end about what I got to say. So, yours truly, DJ Mike Marvelous, Marvelous DJs, cheat code. Let's get it. Welcome back, welcome back. So, again, Spotify has now joined the party with TIDAL, Apple Music, and a number of other different streaming services to allow you to utilize their music while you DJ via streaming music from their catalog. So the good about this is it gives you even more songs now that you have to your repertoire, right? That you have to your advantage to play. Great, right? I think one of the better things for this is when I DJ'd weddings, I used to ask the couple to send me music. Hey, send me your playlist, send me your must-haves, send me your songs during dinner, send me all of that. And I'd say 9 times out of 10, they used to send me a Spotify playlist. So if this is happening to you, this is a great integration because I now don't have to go into their Spotify playlist, find those songs, and pull them over into whatever music base I was going or set up their crate. I can just pull it right from Spotify, right? So awesome, awesome, awesome in that aspect because now I don't really have to wrestle with it. It just comes along with it, and now I have all their music. So let's get into the bad, right? What don't I like about this, right? The first thing that I really don't like about this is the latency and Wi-Fi, right? The latency on this, I've been seeing a lot about latency, and it just sounds like Spotify hasn't figured it out and hasn't sewed it up tightly enough. Wi-Fi is an obvious reason. You're not going to have Wi-Fi everywhere. You can't stream. That's an easy answer. But check out more about that latency because I've been seeing that around this Spotify integration a lot. Somebody tell me if you're using it, is the latency bad? Is it a delay? Does it skip sometimes? I don't know. I'll have to go in and test it out. But this is what I've been seeing. That kind of makes me nervous, right? The other bad I've been seeing is no stem support. Similar to Apple Music, this is coming to the door saying, hey, we have music, but you can't do much with it. And that doesn't have anything to do with the technology. That's more so the license agreement that Spotify has with Serato or Rekordbox or DJ Pro, right? So you can use music, but you can't do anything to it, right? There are licensing limits. You cannot monetize with your mixes online, of course. Spotify, it's their content. They'll snatch you offline probably, and you know they'll take your mixtape down. You can't make any money off of it. I mean, that's normal, right? Another thing that I thought we fixed at one point, but it seems like we have not, in the Spotify coming over, is that queue points can be restricted. So in some cases, your queue points aren't saved. So when you go back to that same track later on, you got to reset all those queue points, right? That's definitely a headache. That's something that other streaming services have solved. Spotify, again, new to the game, getting in the door, but they're missing some pieces here that DJs are used to now. So it kind of leaves you without, automatic cues if I played the song before or not. The biggest no for me is the sound quality. The sound quality comparison of Spotify, Apple Music, and TIDAL, there's one big eye opener for me. So let's talk a little bit about the format that each of these services use. So Spotify uses lossless FLAC or FLAC. Apple Music has a high res lossless kind of format, ALAC. So instead of FLAC, they have ALAC. TIDAL has a hi-fi plus, so it's maximum quality. It has that FLAC and the MQA. The biggest thing that I've seen that is the difference, bit rates match all the way down the board. 24-bit, 24-bit, 24-bit. That's your bit rate or your bit depth. Then we have your sample rate, and this is where things get a little shaky when it comes to Spotify. Tidal and Apple Music are sitting at 192 megahertz. Spotify is at 44.1. That's not even half of what Apple Music and Tidal is doing. So what that tells me is the sound quality not even matchable, right? It's probably matches the quality of like a CD or something like that, but there's no high resolution, there's no studio grade, there's no Dolby Atmos, none of that. No 360, none of that is included into this, into Spotify's music that you're bringing over. So if you're trying to mix tracks and Spotify just sounds off, that's why, right? That's the reason why. So that's a big no for me. So now time to make you mad, right? Let's talk a little bit about what's happening behind the scenes. What I'm starting to feel is that these streaming services are becoming a lot like social media, right? And with a perk, right? So yes, we get to use this music. Yes, we're paying for it, but I feel like something's happening in the background, right? So I did a little bit of digging. I read a little bit through the licenses agreement, and it does say that Spotify has the ability to utilize some of the information, some track information, right? Like how long did you play the track? What tracks did you play? What order did you play it? Probably when you started the track and when you ended the track. And I can tell you that little bit of information right there is good enough to take these songs and start to mix them. Now, the sketchy part of this whole thing of Spotify joining the Serato crew is that they just came out with an auto bot inside of their software that mixes music on its own. What people are talking about is that they believe Spotify and maybe even Apple Music and maybe even Tidal are using this data to train their AI bot to mix music. Now wait, before you run to the comments and say bots will never take our jobs, I'm with you, right? Because the number one thing that's been said is bots will never be able to read a crowd. Now if this ain't to you, don't get mad, but if it is, oh well. Some of y'all can't read the crowd properly, right? I'm just gonna say it. I've been to some of these events. But ultimately I get what you're saying, right? And I don't think that's the answer, right? Oh well, DJs aren't as good. I think it will wash out some of the DJs that's just doing basic blends or just playing songs. Our game is a numbers game, right? So the less events, the less bars, the less clubs that there is, it means more scrambling, or it's going to push the better DJs or the more popular DJs, yeah, I said it, to the top. And those individuals will get the gigs and everybody else will be left doing other stuff. I don't think automation or AI or bots are going to change the DJ game too much, but I do believe it's going to limit where we DJ. If you got a mom and pop bar or club and they can't afford to pay you $500-$600 a night, they probably are going to go with something like this, especially if Spotify gets good at figuring out what songs we're playing, when we're playing them, and when should the bot start mixing. You put those two things together, you got a chill night, to be honest with you. Now, the turn up and the MC, that's a different flavor, but it is what it is. I do want to know, what do you think about this whole thing? Do you think they're trying to learn how we're DJing in order to put it into a system? Do you think there'll always be gigs, right? There will be, right? And that's kind of how I ran my career. I carved out my lane and I stayed in it. I figured out my niche. I figured out my base, and I ran with that. And I think that's what you should do as well, right? With no thought. My club DJs, I think you're good. Those that are in the club, depending on how much you're getting paid. And then you have your other DJs that's just doing events and shows, and there's always going to be a need for a DJ, but I guess in some cases, when the cost just doesn't match up for the business, they're going to go a different route, and that's less numbers or less events or less opportunities for us to book, and we're out of there in those spaces. So just wanted to bring that to light. So ultimately, Spotify joining the game is really a question of convenience, right? If this is a tool that you're using with your clientele, then it's a convenience factor to just have those playlists already made for you. You're the DJ. You curate the order. You put them in order. You mix them. You blend them. You give them something different. Add some stuff in between, and boom, there you go. No setup time. I said this a while ago. I think DJing is becoming a little bit differently than what I was used to, because digging in the crates, learning your crates, prepping your crates is kind of a thing of the past. Spending hours on fixing your crates. I really believe if you could get a playlist already ready-made, ready for you to go on Friday, you just turn it on and start mixing out of that playlist. And that's some of us are doing that now. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying that is how it seems like that is becoming the norm. And this streaming service thing is allowing that to happen. So let me know in the comments. I know y'all gonna go crazy, but it's all good. Yours truly, DJ Mike Marvelous, the cheat code. Let me know your points on today's cheat code.